Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to In Case You Missed It. You missed a lot this week. We got a lot to talk about. I didn't do a show on Tuesday, so we got even more to talk about. But before we do, a lot of people have left comments, many of them channel members. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to the channel members. We've got Ramon, we've got RGB, Snowman, Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, John Toohey, and Midlife Trucker rounding out the list. Thank you for being a channel member. If you'd like to know more about becoming a channel member, hit that little join button right below the video and you can get all the details. All right, we got a lot to talk about tonight. You can tell by the title. So let's get in here and say hi to some people. One of my friends, matter of fact, Adam, the very first guy that I interviewed on this channel, was involved in a mass shooting this week. He's got some injuries, but it looks like he's going to be okay. 2 people were injured. 2 people were killed. The shooter got away, but they did catch him later in Oklahoma after a blowout. So we're going to talk about that later tonight. And also, I got some updates on the Corvette. And of course, you guys know about my semi. I had some health problems and health scares this week. That's the reason we didn't have a Tuesday show. And we're going to talk about that as well. But let's get through a few of these comments. Midlife Trucker was first here today, and he got here several hours ago, over 3 hours ago. So want to give a shout out to him. He says, "What? I'm first?" Yeah, he's been first a couple of times here lately. He's turned out to be a really good friend. My friend Adam that I was just talking about that had been involved in the mass shooting is here. He says he was second. He's still at home recovering, met with the investigator today. Yeah, we're going to talk all about that crazy situation. Roger Berry was third today. Matthew Miller is here. Asphalt Jungle, thank you for being here, sir. Another channel member, Robbie Ross, is here. Hey, Todd, my friend, going through Amarillo. Well, you're just a couple hours away from me, man. I hope things are going well for you. I never think about you being out this way. You're always out by Phoenix and stuff, but we're going to have to cross paths one of these days. Have to buy you a hamburger or something. Oops, let's see. These are just my comments. I didn't mean to click on me. Michael says, hello. Hello, sir. And another really, really good friend, a guy that's been very supportive of the channel, is Red Raider Reloading. Says, late start gives me time to get through DFW to my story. Yes, sir. I'm glad you're here tonight, man. And Red Raider Reloading says, how about them Rangers, world champions? I didn't know it was over yet, but if it is, my sister and my dad are through the roof excited. My dad does not miss a Rangers game. He's either there in person or on TV. He watches it. Gary Cook says, good evening. Tonight I'm listening in Little Rock, Arkansas. I deliver here at 8 a.m., but we'll be listening. Well, thank you for being here, sir. And my good friend Tim Back is here. Right Way to Truck is present. Let's see if we're caught up enough. All right, here we are. Here's that article about that mass shooting if you guys want to read about it. We're going to talk about it. We might as well jump into it right now, and then we'll get back into the comments. We're getting pretty close to current. So my friend used to be a sheriff's deputy, and he quit being a sheriff's deputy, and now he's working on a farm. He drives a truck part-time, and right now they're in the middle of harvest. They had quit that night a little bit early and went to this kind of restaurant bar to eat, and basically an argument broke out between a bouncer and a patron of the facility, and the guy pulled a gun, shot and killed 2 people, injured the bouncer plus my friend, and the bouncer had to have surgery. He got 3 gunshot wounds. He's in the hospital, and it's just a crazy mess. My friend Adam told me about it yesterday, and then my wife got on and found the news article and thought I thought I'd post it for you guys so you could read about it. You guys may have heard about the one recently in Maine, and it just seems crazy that all this stuff's going on. But anyway, I'm glad my friend Adam is okay. You know, it just goes to show you, you never know what can happen. He's just getting off work early, thinking they're going to go have a nice meal, have a few drinks, shoot some pool, and then all this chaos breaks out. So I'm relieved that he's okay. I called another one of my friends the other day that I hadn't talked to in several months, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Todd, I was in the hospital for several weeks. I almost died, and I never knew. You know, time gets away from us. We all get busy. We don't call people back. Those of you that have called me know that. You know, you'll say, "Hey, call me sometime when you're not busy," and there's never a time I'm not busy. So I forget to call people back, and hopefully nobody gets their feelings hurt over it. I always do the best I can. Speaking of things to get your feelings hurt over, though, my Corvette is still not done. And I called them today, later in the day, even gave them time. They said, "Oh, yeah, we're working on it right now. We'll have it done by the end of the day. And we're going to call you just the second it's done." Well, of course, I've got all my phones on Do Not Disturb right now, so it won't interrupt the show. But they are, at this point, really, really killing me. So, you know, I thought that the repairs to the truck and that downtime was going to kill me, but it looks like what may kill me is the Corvette. And speaking of killing me, on Tuesday night, my wife's over here laughing. Speaking, anytime I mention me dying or something killing me, she gets a kick out of it. But I don't know what that means. You guys got any ideas? But anyway, on Tuesday night, the reason there wasn't a show, I had to go to the emergency room. For about a week, my back has been really, really, or was really, really hurting me. On Tuesday night, it got so stiff and so painful that I could barely walk. I went out to the emergency room, and at first they thought it was something minor. Maybe I was a hypochondriac or something. So they sent me over to urgent care, and urgent care did an x-ray, and the doctor looked scared. He came back and he's like, "Hey, we're rushing you back to the emergency room. We're going to do a CAT scan. You've got a big mass in your back." He said it could be a tumor. And so that was a really scary situation. Wasn't real sure what it was. They got over there, did a CAT scan, and they said they're able to layer it, which I don't know what that means, but I guess it means they can see the different levels. And it wasn't a tumor, but it was, what did they call it, Paula? Degenerative arthritis. And it was evidently so inflamed and so swollen that it looked like a tumor when they did the x-ray. So they put me on morphine and all kinds of drugs that night. And I was pretty loopy. Today was the first day that I could send a text message. So if you received a text message from me since Tuesday, it was probably my wife typing it. I was telling her what to say and she was typing it. I couldn't even see like keys on the phone. I'd say, "Where's L? Where's R?" And she'd get frustrated and she'd say, "Here, let me type it." Yeah. And so today I feel 1,000 times better. I'm starting to cut back on the medications. Today I was able to drive my pickup. Obviously, I couldn't drive a commercial vehicle right now. I'm supposed to see my doctor at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll probably be released to drive after that. But I'm waiting, obviously, for the Corvette to get done. Tomorrow may become the day that I become a jerk about it and lean on them harder than I have this far. I've tried to be nice. I've tried to be understanding. But at this point, they're killing me. And the finance company's getting impatient because I've had to defer a couple of payments. And so something's going to happen tomorrow. I got a feeling one way or the other. But Scott's been great so far. He's called me almost every day. Not pressured me, but just kind of wanting an update, wanting to see where we're at. I think he kind of misses me working too. And I definitely miss working. I told him today I'd probably do a load as a volunteer right now just to drive a little. It'd make my back feel better. But anyway, that's kind of where everything's at right now. And it's still a little stiff right now. Here in a minute, I may have to take something to kind of loosen it up a little bit. And if I do, there's no telling how this show might turn out. That Tuesday night, there's no telling what I would have said if you'd have got me on air. I was pretty grouchy. I griped at my wife pretty bad, hurt her feelings a couple of times. But she said I was real nice to all the medical staff. I was just mean to her. So I had to do a few apologies to her and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of how my week's gone. Let's say hi to a few more people. My good friend Ramon is here, and he's saying hello to everyone. Also, Steve made it in with the hands and a donut and a US. Well, good deal. I'll take the high fives and the donuts anytime. Another good friend of the show, John Toohey, is here. Hey, Todd. Hey, John. And let's see. It's funny. My wife's walking through the house like an old lady right now. She just got off work and she's pretty sore. She's saying it's my fault. As I mentioned, I was pretty high from all the hospital medications, and my balance wasn't real steady. Last night, I lost my balance, and I kind of stepped on the corner of her foot just enough to. Oh, she says directly on top. Well, I got big feet, and so she's in a lot of pain right now. And then she worked all day, so have some sympathy for her. Angel is here. Hey, Angel. Something else I need to mention tonight. My second grandson. I used to call him Baby Jay when he was little, but now he's just Jay. He's more adult-like now. Turned 13 today, so I'm wanting to say happy birthday on the air to my second grandson. I believe he has a game tonight, so I'm sure he's not watching the show. And I tried to call him right before I came on the air, and I'm pretty sure he was getting ready for a game. But anyway, I hope he has a good game tonight and a great birthday. Let's see who else we got here. Daryl says he's checking in from Sinclair in Crook, Colorado. All righty. Sounds good, man. What's the weather like over there? Robbie Roth says, now I'm in New Mexico, be in Phoenix tomorrow. Man, you're moving right along. And No Fear says, hey, everyone. Angel says, here, love these videos. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Let's see. Angel said, or I'm sorry, Adam says the bouncer was shot trying to stop the shooter. Yeah, that's what that article was saying. Evidently, the bouncer had thought about going and getting his weapon that he had in his vehicle, and he decided it would be safer to tackle the guy. And as they were on the ground wrestling, the shooter got off 3 shots. I think, where did he say he shot him, Paula? You remember? Seemed like once in the leg, maybe once in the abdomen, once in the arm or something. But yeah, there's no doubt the bouncer.
Hip, abdomen, and arm.
Oh, my wife said hip, abdomen, and arm, she believed. But he had to have surgery, and no doubt about it, that bouncer saved a lot of lives that night. The guy, strange story about the guy, the shooter got away, which is real unusual. Usually somebody will return fire and put a stop to that. The shooter did get away and was driving across Oklahoma and blew out a tire. And while he was waiting on the side of the road for roadside or to get a tire changed or whatever, the cops caught him. And he surrendered without incident, without resistance. So hopefully he'll stand trial and pay for what he did. I can just imagine how traumatic this is. And it's even kind of traumatic for me to have a friend get shot in that fashion. It's bad enough when you see it on the news, but it's worse when it's somebody that you know and you've talked to several times. Ted is here. Hey, Mr. Todd, sorry I'm late. Just got my wife out of the hospital. Just need prayers for fast healing. Yes, sir, we'll do that. Everybody pray for Ted's wife. I hope she's okay. I'm just glad you're here, man. Epic Trucking Fails. Hey now, waving at everybody. That's a pretty cool channel if y'all hadn't checked it out. It's kind of like a Boneheads Trucker type thing where they show a lot of cool videos. So y'all check it out if you hadn't done that. And Kid Behind the Wheel says, hey, Trucker Ted, tuning in from Panama City. Oh, Trucker Todd, not Trucker Kid. See what I mean? It's still the pills. There's no telling what I'm going to say tonight, but yeah, I'm glad you're here, my friend. Corey Oatley, another channel member, says the silver lining has to be close now. Prayers for you, Todd. Man, I hope so. I honestly, me and Scott were talking about this today. It's like, I asked him, I said, do you know anybody that has my kind of luck? And he said, man, this past month has been tough for you. And he said, I'll admit it. I miss you. I'll be glad when you're back. And I was like, yeah, me too. So, and my wife too. She's ready for me to get back to work. But yeah, he was real cool. And I told him, I said, hey, Scott, I got a doctor's note if you want it. And he said, no, you're not an employee. I don't need that. And I said, well, it's the whole trust but verify thing. If you need to see I was really down or whatever, that I'll be happy to show it to you. And he said, no, I trust you. So that was kind of cool too. How many mega carriers would do that? Most of them, even though you're not an employee, they'd say, hey, we need something. You're taking too much time off. Just one more good thing about Scott. Ted says maybe she needs some of your meds, LOL. Well, I got the good stuff here, and I'm pretty drug tolerant, but it knocked me on my butt. I don't know what they gave me in the hospital, but I was down for the count. And it took a while to wear off. That first night, though, I was sick as a dog. I kept throwing up all night, and I felt miserable, and I was stumbling everywhere. And so I've reduced the drugs a lot. I don't take something unless I get at a point where I just got to have it. And I really think it was overkill what they did. I think I need, some arthritis medicine, maybe over-the-counter stuff. They said stress can aggravate it, and I've definitely had a little bit of that in my life lately. And they said, quite honestly, just bouncing in a truck for 27 years probably did a lot of it, but they said that it'll aggravate it more when you have a lot of stress. And so the cure to my health is just getting that truck out of the shop, getting that Corvette sold, and getting back to work as quick as I can. That's really what's going to fix everything. Nicholas says, what's wrong with the vet? Basically, what happened with the vet is the speedometer quit working at one point. I pulled the cluster, replaced the speedometer, and I couldn't get it back together. My hands wouldn't fit back there. I dropped the steering column to get more room, still couldn't get it back there. And the plastic on a 50-year-old car is so flimsy that I was scared I was going to break it. So I had it towed to a shop that had worked on the car in the past. They kind of specialize in working on old cars. And they were going to put it back together. And they decided it needed a light switch. The particular light switch that it needs, they only found 2 places in the country that sell them. It's got some extra weird stuff on it, like that controls the vacuum for the headlights and things like that. Good grief, this thing's people proof. And so they had to order the switch, and they've had the switch for 2 or 3 days now. They just need to put it back together. But I wanted them to have it because if that cluster broke, I wanted them to be responsible for it and not me. And so, but they've kind of screwed me on this one. I'm not going to ever take them another car after this. Jordan says, Trucker Todd, I need your mentor advice. How can I contact you? That's a great question. The best way to contact me, I'm going to remove your comment so you can see it. You can either go to truckertodd.net, and there's a little contact form on there where you can send me a message, or you can email me. Crap, I didn't put the ticker up. That's part of the problem. There's the ticker. It's got my email address in there. It's todd@truckertodd.net. It's also got, Scott's email. If y'all want to email him about job opportunities, if you've already got a truck, things like that, he can sure get in contact with you, and y'all can work all that out. Let's see here. Let's get down here to the latest comment. My friend Ramon says, happy birthday to Jay. Well, thank y'all. Appreciate that. The big 13, when we all become a teenager. What's really scary is I've got a grandson that's 16, if you can believe that. And Manny says, good afternoon from Lewiston, Idaho. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. I bet there's some weather up there. Ramon says, Todd, you have any pills left? How much for two? LOL. Yeah. Yeah. So if I don't get back to work pretty soon, I'll have to be selling those pills. No, that's a joke for all you people getting ready to turn me in to the Drug Enforcement Agency. It's a joke. Daryl says mostly clear skies and supposed to drop to 40 degrees tonight. Delivering to Sam's Distribution in Loveland, Colorado in the morning. Oh, that's nice, man. 40 is a good temperature because you can sleep without the truck on, maybe do light heat, and it's just right inside the truck. That's my kind of weather for sleeping. And channel member Robbie Ross says, my house is getting close to being done. Second floor is done. We'll be organizing when I get home. So, Robbie, I don't know if you guys remember, his house got basically destroyed with flood damage in Phoenix, of all places. And the people that are redoing it for him are taking their sweet, sweet time. And fortunately, he's about to get it done. He had some tenants that were kind of staying there while he was out on the road, and he had to move them out because the conditions were so bad. And I know he's really excited that his house is about to be done. So congratulations, man. And Gary Cook says, this last Sunday, I celebrated my 52nd birthday. I feel older. Yeah, I'm only 50. I turned 51 in December, and I'm feeling it already. I was glad it wasn't a tumor, but it was kind of a gut check to find out that I'm getting old. I've said it before. My brain thinks I'm about 23. My body thinks I'm about 80. So my mind thinks I can do a lot of stuff that I used to could, but now I can't. And one of those things is put a Corvette back together. The little wires that go to the back of the cluster, they're not long enough. And my hands just won't get back there and plug them in. And plus, my shop's not air conditioned. So I get in there, it's freaking hot. It's dirty. And my wife's at work, so she can help me. And I'm like, man, if I get into there and get hurt, I ain't going to be able to get out. Nicholas says, well, I hope it gets done, man. I understand that feeling on the cluster. I used to buy IROC Camaros. Yeah, and here's the other deal. And you guys can tell me it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. Fords are actually harder to work on, but I have better luck with Fords. Everybody says, I like Chevy because there's a lot of room to work and you can do this and you can do that. Every time I touch that Corvette, I screw something up. And you can give me a Ford and I can get out there and work on it all day and not screw nothing up. I don't know what it is, but I'm probably going to hold off on buying any more GM products for a while. Robbie says, happy birthday, Gary. Is it Gary's birthday? Oh, well, it was the other day. That's right. On Sunday. Yes, sir. Happy belated birthday. I didn't know. Ramon says, I was 13-year-old when I came to the United States. I was thinking you said 7 or 8. You were 13. Ever since you told me you were from Cuba, I've had this fascination with Cuba, and I've done a lot of reading about it. You can go there. You can get a plane ticket there for like $500, but they won't let everybody go because of the embargo. You have to meet one of 12 qualifications and all of that. But man, I think it'd be kind of fun to go there. I would enjoy it just to see all the old cars and stuff. But I know there's a lot of poverty and stuff there, but it looks like it'd be a fun vacation and a cheap vacation. And it would definitely make some good videos to show you guys. Ramon turns 49 on October 16th. Hey, that's my dad's birthday. That's pretty cool, Ramon. Happy early birthday. Oh, you did turn. Never mind. See what I mean about the pills? I don't even know what month I am, what day of the week. But it's already November, she's telling me. But well, happy belated birthday to you too, Ramon. We gotta start recognizing people's birthdays on here. Red Raider Reloading says my birthday is in December as well. Well, mine's the 11th. When's yours, Red Raider? Gary says, just a reminder that daylight savings times ends Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Yeah, don't forget to move your clocks, everybody. Man, I thought I had a lot to talk about, but we got through it in the first 30 minutes. Now I'm going to be leaning on you guys. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about tonight. I might need to have somebody film me tomorrow, though, because they don't get that Corvette done tomorrow. There's a good possibility I'm going to snap. And it might make for some entertaining video. No way. Red Raider Reloading's birthday's on the 11th, too. Oh, that's pretty cool, Red Raider. I would have never guessed it. I don't anticipate I'll be home on the 11th. I bet I'll be out here running my tail off trying to make up for all this time off. My wife's in the bathroom going, yep, you sure will. She's fixing to crack the whip. I'm fixing to work harder than I've ever worked in my life. And I'm sure Scott will be like, hey, every time I stop the truck, hey, what are you doing? Get rolling. No, he's been great. I'm just teasing about that. Jordan says, how about them Cowboys? That's right. It's that's what's funny about the Cowboys. Everybody was ragging on Dak, and then Dak has a game where he does pretty well, but they don't loosen up on him. They're quiet all of a sudden. They can't ever say, hey, Dak did a good job. Hey, Dak had a good game. It's either he sucks or no comment at all. And I think they need to remember it's a long season, and most teams are going to lose a couple of games. And, they're going to be fine. I think they're going to go deep in the playoffs, but we'll see. You say, well, why do you say deep and not all the way? Well, because anything can happen, but I think they've got a good team this year. I think they've got the best shot they've had in years, and we'll just see what happens. I know they're fun to watch. Don't go postal on the dealership, Todd. Well, my problem is, and Robbie Ross is a channel member, by the way. My problem is I'm medicated, and so I don't know what I'll do, what I'll say, and I'm probably going to lose the fight because my balance and everything ain't real good. So I'm probably going to take a whooping at the shop, but it might be some of you trolls that hate my guts. It might be fun to watch me get my tail kicked. But I got a lot of fire under them tomorrow somehow. And I don't know if that means me sitting up there all day in the waiting room, or I know the owner. It may mean me having a serious conversation with him tomorrow, but we got to get this car done. Like, my financial life is dependent on it right now. Ramon says his dad's birthday is November 11th, 1933. Wow. My dad's is October 16th, 1948. And usually my sister will make him a nice dinner or something like that. He lives pretty far from me, so I don't get to be there for a lot of that stuff. I sure wish I could see him, but they usually try to do something nice for him on his birthday. Adam says, I'll bring the popcorn. I need a good laugh. Yeah, something funny about me getting hurt. It's if I was 100%, I could probably give him a good run, but tomorrow he's probably going to win. If you're betting on it, I'd bet on him. Gary said, did you say the semi's done? Yeah, the semi's been done for several days, and I've just been waiting on the Corvette to get done so I can sell it and go pay the bill. Bill came out to $49.70, and I'm still waiting to hear back from PACCAR. But quite honestly, the longer this drags out, the less negotiating power I'm going to have. If the car would have been done when it was supposed to be, I could have went down there right then and probably haggled it down some. But with it coming up on several days of just sitting there, they've probably killed my negotiating power. unless PACCAR gets me a big discount. And I doubt they're going to be real inclined to do it based on how long it's taken to get everything done. This whole thing has just been a crap show, and I'm real disappointed in everybody involved. And I don't mean Scott in that. Scott wasn't involved, but I do mean the PACCAR dealership, the Peterbilt dealership. I do mean the place that's working on the Corvette. Just everybody that I needed to count on let me down. And so now I'm definitely behind the 8 ball. And all I got to do is, even the finance companies kind of let me down a little bit. So I need to get out of the shop and I need to get on the road making money very, very, very quickly, or it's all going to go down. Red Raider Reloading said, yes, I have a cousin. That's her birthday on the 11th as well. Well, let's talk about the problem with having your birthday on December 11th. And I'm sure Red Raider Reloading can relate to this. The 11th is exactly 2 weeks before Christmas. So basically what happens is you get screwed every time on your birthday because people go, well, this is your birthday and your Christmas present. Or instead of getting you something for your birthday, we'll just give it to you at Christmas. And I got half the gifts that a lot of kids did because my birthday was so close to Christmas. I don't know if any of you other people experienced that or not. Oh, this is genius, Jordan. Hey, Paula, are you coming back in here in a minute? When you do, will you fire up the air conditioner? Yeah. I'm in a hot box in here. So here's a great comment from Jordan. I kind of wonder if they broke a piece on the Corvette and they are waiting on a piece and not telling you about it. You know, honestly, I'm kind of wondering that too, because the shop has like 2 sections, and normally they put my car on a lift in the front so that if they got broke into at night, it'd be real hard to steal. They'd have to move the car underneath, let the lift down. Hopefully there'd be a lot of footage of them on tape. Anyway, that's one thing I like about them. They're very protective of the car. But in my case, they moved it over to the other side, which they've never, ever done before, ever. And I kind of wonder, like you, after you say that, if maybe they broke something, they have it over there where I can't see it, and they're just trying to fix it real quick before I know what's going on. But he specifically told me today that he was working on it right then. And it should only take about maybe 30 or 40 minutes at the most to put it back together. If all he's doing is popping that cluster in, bolting the, steering column back up, all of that. So I kind of wonder, like you, Jordan, if there's more to the story than what they're telling me. And quite honestly, I don't care. I'm going to sell it as soon as I get it back. But I just wish they'd be honest with me. So much of my problem this whole time has just been an honesty issue. Getting people to tell me the truth. They're afraid to tell me because they're afraid I'm going to be mad or, have a wild reaction. But I don't. I've got dozens of people calling me every day wanting an update. The finance company, Scott, viewers, everybody's wanting information. And it's stressful. I've got a ghost here. It's stressful when they've got questions and I don't have any answers. And, I pride myself on having answers for you guys. And it really frustrates the heck out of me when I get a phone call and I don't know what to tell somebody. Red Raider says, Dak Prescott's true colors will show on Sunday. He always chokes in big games. Yeah, that's the criticism of him. However, I think people would say the last few games, he's playing smarter. He's still not perfect. He did have an interception this last game, but the ball was tipped twice before it was intercepted. So that means 2 chances the Cowboys could have caught the ball and they didn't. So I think he takes a lot of heat for some stuff that's not his fault, but he's going to have to make smart decisions. And I hope he does, because I really, really like Dak Prescott. I really do. As a matter of fact, my wife has tried to get me one of his jerseys before, and we're trying to find one that's not $1 million. But I'm a true fan of his. And I was the same way about Troy Aikman. I really like Troy Aikman. And so I hope that he doesn't choke. But that is the big criticism of him. Channel member Ramon says, before you go to see the Corvette in the shop, take a few pills. Oh, yeah. Well, if I do, I won't be able to drive. So the good thing is my wife's off work tomorrow. If it is done, she can drive me down there. But I need to be clean enough that I can drive the car if it's done. And I got to go to the doctor in the morning. So I'm going to be taking the bare minimum of pills because I need to get cleared to drive. Russell Freight Services, LLC says, hey, Todd. Hey, Russell. Thank you for being here, my friend. Robbie Ross, channel member, says the Cowboys have a huge divisional game in Philly. Will be a win behind since we had a bye. Philly has their week off next weekend. Should be in first place. Yeah, that's my hope as well. We'll see. It's definitely going to be a game for the ages. I say that, and then it'll turn out to be a blowout one way or the other. But these are the ones we like to watch, where two really good teams meet up. Gary Cook says he has a friend that her birthday is February 29th. Oh, wow. So she's really a fourth of her age because she only has a birthday on leap year. Adam says fines February 6th. I think he means mine's February 6th. So my mom's, when she was still alive, hers was February the 4th. Red Raider Reloading says, are you using the guys at Cook's Garage to fix the vet? No, but I should have. Me and Rusty know each other pretty well. We went to high school together. He's a couple of years older than me. I kind of wish I would have took it there. But no, that's not where I went. I'll tell you kind of off the air where I went, but I don't want to put it on here. I've had some troubles with trolls doing some really mean stuff to me lately. I've received some threats this week, some pretty credible threats. And so I'm being a lot more careful. But if you want to text me later, I'll tell you where it's at. Channel member Ramon says, Todd, you have a good night. Are you going to bed now, Ramon? Leaving us? All right. Well, the comments have kind of slowed down. Let me get a few things out there. So there's the website, truckertodd.net. You can jump on there and message me. I've got a lot of great information there. How to get the solar powered headset, all that good stuff. How to get my ES Advantage fuel card. How to get a discount on Mudflap if you want to get the Mudflap app. Say that 3 times real fast. Mudflap app. That's all there. Check those things out. Also, if you look at the ticker at the bottom of the screen, it'll also have that same information there along with my email. Also, if you've got a truck and you want to come work for Scott, give Scott a buzz and kind of tell him about your situation. Actually, give him an email, not a buzz, and he'll talk to you about opportunities that he might have available to you. Also, Avery is no longer at Cordell Truck Sales. He left. He and I texted earlier in the week, and so that's why I don't have their phone number down there. I guess him and them had a parting of the ways. So I just wanted to get those things out there to you. We've been going about 40 minutes. We'll go as long as y'all can keep the conversation going. And so y'all put up your comments, questions, concerns, things like that. We'll jump right in. Channel member Ramon says it's bedtime. All right, man. Have a great night, my friend. Try to catch the replay if you can tomorrow. You never know what's going to happen on here. I've had people watch and they're like, man, I didn't know we were going to talk about this, or I didn't know it was going to get into that. You just never know what's going to happen on here. So make sure and try to catch the replay tomorrow if you can. But otherwise, have a great night, my friend. Gary Cook says his mother's birthday is September 8th. His sister is October 14th, and his birthday is October 29th. So my family all has fall birthdays. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Have you tried the Rally House store in Lubbock to get you a jersey? No, my wife was looking online. I'll have to check them out. Where are they at? Right now, I don't need to be spending money on nothing, but maybe as it gets closer to Christmas or something, I can get something like that. Alaska Hall says, Todd, I just got here. How you been? Man, it has been a week. So the Corvette's still not done. They told me they were going to finish it today. It may have happened, but I've got all my phones on Do Not Disturb for this video. So I don't know if it did or not. I'll find out after the video goes off. The semi's done. It's just waiting for me to go pick it up. I was in the hospital overnight here just a few days ago. They thought I had a tumor in my back. It turned out to be, what's it again, Paul? I forget. I'm on drugs, so my brain ain't working. Degenerative arthritis. Degenerative arthritis, pretty bad. They gave me some really good pain medicine, and I'm a lot better today, but still my brain kind of slips up a little bit. I drove my pickup for the first time this morning. I don't think I'm cleared to drive a semi yet. I've got a doctor's appointment in the morning, at which time I figure they'll release me. I'm going really, really light on the medications now because quite frankly, I need to get back to work. I've been off almost a month, and it's killing my finances. It's extremely stressful. Bill collectors are running out of patience, and it's the thing that needs to happen. So I hope that I can hit the ground running tomorrow. I got on yesterday. I got on the freight boards and looked, and man, the rates have gone back down. I got sticker shock. Now, at least diesel prices are falling a little bit, but it was the first time in a couple of weeks I'd got on a load board and looked, and I was like, oh, my brother, this is not going to work. Edward Rogers said, Todd, do you have any info on leasing through OTR Leasing? I've never really had a conversation with them. I see their ads all the time, but I don't know anybody personally that's bought a truck from them. But by the same token, if somebody called me and said, I need a truck, they would be a company I would suggest just because I see them everywhere. There's a company called HEC Leasing in Nashville. There's a company called Accelerate Leasing that has several truck lots across the country. And then there's one called Diamond Trucking. There's also several in Dallas. And, of course, all the companies I'm mentioning work with bad credit. They don't want a fortune down. Most of them are, say, $3,000 to $10,000, depending on what kind of truck you want. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. And quite frankly, I've shared this in another video, so I don't mind saying it again. If something, if the Corvette doesn't get done and I end up losing my semi, the goal is still to get another truck and go and stay with Scott. There's no contingency plan where I plan on leaving Scott as long as I can get access to a truck. Some of you guys in here have offered to lease purchase me trucks, and that might be a deal if I can stay on with Scott. So I just want to make that clear that when I say, hey, I may lose my truck, that doesn't mean that the plan is to leave Scott. It might mean moving to another truck and continuing to work with Scott. The problem is I know I'm not going to find another truck as nice as the one I'm in with all the luxury that it has and all the comforts it has. So my two goals in all of this mess is to keep my truck and to keep working for Scott. But if I have to part with one of them, I'll part with the truck. I don't really want to part with Scott or SRO Logistics. It's by far the best place I've ever worked. And he's been nothing but kind this whole month, calling me, hey, Todd, are you okay? Do you need anything? How's it going? just checking on you. He's been great. So that's my number one goal in this whole thing is to remain contracted with him. And even those of you that know me privately know that that's my goal. Robbie Ross says, text me your address. I will get you a number 4 jersey. Let me know what size. Oh, wow, Robbie, that's awesome. I thought you had my address, but yeah, I'll send it to you. That's something else I've got to work on because a lot of people are starting to mail me stuff. I need to get a separate P.O. box just for that. But yeah, I'll after the show, I'll send you my address, Robbie. I appreciate that. It's Robbie's talked to me a few times, so he knows I really am a big Dak Prescott fan. And so, man, that would be an achievement. And I'm going to have to guess on my size, but on jerseys, it's all right if it's a little big. Gary Cook says, Edward Rogers, stay away from OTR leasing. They are a nightmare. All right. Gary Cook's a good friend also, and he's trustworthy. So if he says OTR leasing's not good, I would trust him. Like I said, I don't have any personal experience with him, but I know Gary. He's a smart guy, and if he says avoid him, then I trust him. Hey, looky here, Deontay Butler with the donation. Thank you so much, sir. He says, checking in, hope all is well. Man, it's been another crazy week, and this chair, after I sit in it for a while, it's starting to make my back tense up a little bit. So in a minute, I may have to take some medicine, but for now, and then the show's going to get real fun. But for now, I'm okay. I just kind of had to move around a lot. But thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for the donation, my friend. Alaska Hall says, I'm on drugs. At least that's helping with some of the stress. That's right. They told me at the emergency room that was my problem. My blood pressure was way up, and they said, you're in pain and you're stressed out. And I'm like, duh. Yes, I'm stressed out. Yes, I'm in pain. They just don't know the pressure cooker I'm in. Brian Walton says, hey, bud, sorry I'm late. That's all right, man. Better late than never. We've covered a lot of ground in the first 45 minutes. So if you get a chance to go back and catch the replay, later tonight or whatever, when you're bored, go back and check it out. It's been a week, and there's a good possibility that I'm going to snap tomorrow. So you don't want to miss that. My wife's off work. Maybe I can get her to film it. Russell Freight says he's buying his first house tomorrow. Well, congratulations. Big milestone there. Red Raider Reloading says Raleigh House is in the West End Shopping Center. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to go over there and check it out. Right now I can't even walk. When I got to Walmart, I had to ride one of them little buggies the other day, and I was embarrassing my wife. I was honking the horn and doing all that stuff. But I don't know if I could walk that far right now, but I need to go through the West End and look around. I used to live right over there just a couple of blocks away from it in some apartments. I say about 5 or 6 blocks away in some apartments. And so I was always in that area, but I haven't been over there on a regular basis in several years. I need to kind of walk through it. We used to go to Costco over there all the time, but I gave up my Costco membership when they forced me to wear a mask. So, yeah, I need to get over there and check that out. I went in the Nike store over there and got sticker shock. Good Lord, those shoes were expensive. Brian Walton says, this week will really show what the Cowboys have by playing the Eagles. Yes, sir, I agree with that completely. This is the kind of games we all get excited for. And somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, but they're both really, really good teams. Hey, looky here, channel member Robbie Ross with the donation. Keep in mind the Cowboys game is the later afternoon game. Let's go Cowboys. Yeah, I hate that because this last one was at noon, but most of them are the later game. and it's because they get a big viewership for those games. But I'll be ready. I'll either be driving and listening to it on satellite radio, or I'll be at home watching it on TV. And let's see who we got here. Channel member John Tui. Hey, Todd, I got to go. Just found out I didn't get the rest of his comment. All right, man, I hope everything's okay. I'll call you later and see if you're all right, man. Oh, no. Channel member John Terry says he just found out that one of his dogs died. Later, Todd. All right, man, take care. You know, I'm real sympathetic to that. Our dog died a few years ago. It lasted 18 years, and it's like losing a family member. The dog started having seizures real bad, and we had to put the dog down, and it's tough. It's like a family member. So I'm sympathetic to anybody that has a dog go down, especially one that they care about. And so that sucks, John. I'm sorry to hear about that. Somebody answered that earlier. Brian Walton says, if the Cowboys win, will that put them in first place? Not right away, because the Cowboys have already had their bye, but it could, because the Eagles have a bye coming up. So if the Cowboys win, then when the Eagles go into their bye, theoretically it could put them in first place. But it really, you know, it's the part of the season where it gets so complicated. I'm just removing that comment so y'all can see the website. I need to get on there and update it. I know what you're thinking. Todd, you've been off a month. Why ain't you had time? I wish you guys could follow me around for a day and see the hell I go through. It's a lot to be me. Right now, my phone situation is chaotic, and I'm trying to straighten that out. But when they start ringing, I just get buried. And I'm trying to think how to say this. Almost everybody calling is a well-wisher. There's a few bill collectors in there that they don't care either way. They just want their money. And, you know, so there's all of that. But, yeah, it's chaotic. And there's mornings I wake up 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on the phone till 9 or 10 o'clock at night for something or another. And so I'm trying to get everything organized, but it's chaotic. I've said it many times. I got to go back to work so I can get some rest. Seems like I work less when I'm at work than I do when I'm at home. All righty. Have we got any more comments yet? Let's see what we got yet. Brian Walton says, I was going to call you yesterday, but I got tied up. Yeah, yesterday I would have had a real hard time putting thoughts together. A couple of people talked to me on the phone, but I was really groggy. Like I said, today's the first day that I could talk. You can see I'm still stuttering a little bit. Sometimes I kind of get tripped up on my words, but I'm getting a little better every day. So hopefully, if you want to try to call me tomorrow, I should be pretty close to my old self again. Like I say, in the morning at 9 o'clock, I'll be at the doctor. You won't get me then. I think my wife has a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock. And then, so as long as you don't call around those times, you should have a pretty good shot of getting me, unless I'm incarcerated because I punch a mechanic. And that might happen too. Gary Cook says the Chicago Bears will be looking for a new coach by the end of the season. You might be right about that. It's hard to watch because the Chicago Bears, I mean, we all remember the 85 Bears, and you think of the Bears as being a competitive team every year. But Man, there's no Mike Ditka's left anymore. And my wife mentioned to me the other day, Bobby Knight died. Can you believe that? 83 years old. I saw his last basketball game in Lubbock before he retired, and he kept a house in Lubbock. I think he was in Bloomington, Indiana, at his house up there when he died. But I watched his very last game, and as a matter of fact, my uncle and I were standing above the tunnel when he walked out, and so we got to see him real up close. And at the time, nobody knew that was his last game, but like the next day he announced he was retiring, and we just happened to be there at his last game. My uncle and I were talking about that last night on the phone, so that was really cool as well. I don't have any updates on my other grandson. They're still waiting on test results. We hadn't really had any news yet. To me, that's a good sign. No news is good news. And my aunt, she's still in getting treatment. They're not amputating anything else right now, and she seems to be improving. Don't like turn it super cold, but just a little. Thank you. Let's see. Brian Walton says, I'll be driving from Georgia to Houston, so I'll have plenty of time. All right. Yeah, give me a holler. And you never know. You might call at just the right time to get some updated news. I may do a special video if the car gets done, I get it sold tomorrow. I may do a special video and tell you all about it. Or if I get to book a load tomorrow, I'll sure come out and tell you about it. But it's doubtful I'll get that much done tomorrow. But if I do, I'll sure share it with you, because I know a lot of you have been praying for me. A lot of you are really curious about what's going on. So I want to keep y'all in the loop as much as I can. Red Raider Reloading says the more expensive the car, the less common sense they have. Yeah, and I'll tell you something else I noticed about this Corvette, because it happened when the tow truck driver dropped it off over there. Immediately, and I'm not even exaggerating, like 3 or 4 mechanics ran out of the shop, and they're standing beside it and taking selfies and standing back and taking pictures of the car. And, you know, they're sending them to their girlfriends and trying to make it look like they own the car and stuff like that. And I think that's a lot of it right there is that they, you know, they're too busy looking at it and not fixing it. And it happened the first time I took it there too. They were just, their jaws hit the ground when I drove up in that car the first time. And still they're just amazed at what a nice car it is. And so like I said, I've had some bad stuff happen this week too. I don't want to shine a light on a cockroach, so I'm not going to tell you what the trolls have done, but just know that I've had some really bad things happen by trolls this week. I've had some people try to hurt me financially and otherwise, and so I'm having to be real careful right now. It's a shame. I thought that it all died down, but there's just some really mean people in the world right now. And I guess there always has been. Channel member Robbie Ross, you need to watch a video from the CEO on Tuesday. It was a classic. I think I saw it. One thing I'm noticing him saying, and everybody excuse us for a minute, we're talking about another company that I used to work for a long time ago, a couple of years ago. And they've got a new CEO, and he puts out a YouTube video every weekday, and at least 6 or 7 people watch it. One of them's me, one of them's Robbie Ross, and it's always classic. But I've noticed here lately he's talking about accidents a lot, so I'm guessing they're having a lot of accidents lately. The one thing he is saying on there that's interesting to me is he says that he just worked out a deal with the company that he can't announce the specifics yet, but that they're going to have some loads running out of Dallas going west. And man, you know what that means? That means coming through Lubbock, Albuquerque, out that way, El Paso. So if anything ever did in between me and Scott, me and him might have a conversation. But I mean, I can do that now, and I make a lot more money. So my money's staying on Scott as long as I possibly can. But I am interested what he put together there. But yeah, it's which part of that video caught your attention? Gary Cook says Minnesota beat Green Bay. The Detroit Lions are still in first place. Yeah, the Detroit Lions seem like they got a team this year. Everybody keeps telling me, watch Detroit. And I just, for some reason, I never get to watch them. So I'm just kind of going off what you guys have told me. Alaska says, Todd, you can always tell the bank to take the truck. How much of a mess could it cause? It's just a lease. That way you keep the money from the vet and tell Peterbilt to suck it. Well, that's actually a possibility. Here's the deal on that. It's a lease, but the way the lease is written, it's a purchase. So what would happen if I did that is it would destroy my business credit along with my personal credit in pretty substantial fashion, because I've only had the truck, I don't know how many months now, since probably June. So I would take a pretty good hit. Now, you and I both know that I could get another truck, especially with the money I'd make off the vet. I really don't want to lose that truck, but the reason I brought it up is a lot of people think, oh, you're going to screw Scott over. And that's not the plan. If the truck really has nothing to do with it. If I reach a point tomorrow or on Monday where I'm like, there's just no way to save the semi, then goal one is going to be to get everything out of that truck before they come get it. And goal two is going to be immediately to transition to a mode of trying to see how I can work with Scott. And it'll probably involve a phone call between me and him, because I need to keep him in the loop, tell him what's going on. And it's probably going to be me saying, hey, don't come get the trailer. I still plan to work for you. Here's how I'm going to get a truck. Here's what we're going to do. And trying to work with him that way. Like I've told y'all from day one, I've never worked for a guy like this. It's not the most money I've ever made, but that's my fault. I negotiate my own rates. I was teasing him today. I said, now, Scott, I'm in pretty tough times right now. It's about time we did a 95-5 split or a 90-10 split. And he's like, nah, I think we'll stick with the 80-20. But we was having kind of a good laugh about it. But yeah, there's a lot of people think, oh, you're going to jump carriers. No, that's the nuclear option. That's if no other options are available to me. But in this day and age, there's always another option. And I got to get that car done. And then if the finance company wants to work with me, fine. And if they don't, then I got to go to plan B. But plan B does not involve screwing Scott over or leaving Scott or nothing like that. The goal has always been to stay with SRO Logistics. He gave me the exact deal I wanted, the 80-10 split, picking my own loads. I mean, everything right down the line has been exactly what I wanted. So I'd be a fool to leave him as long as that door is open. Now, if he says, Todd, your life's just too much of a roller coaster, I can't do it no more, then I'll be forced to look at something else. But as long as he still wants me on the team and we can make it work, then I'm going to stay right here. Midlife Trucker channel member says an hour in, not too late. Yes, sir. I'm glad you're here. Red Raider Reloading says, not talking about you and your car. I'm talking about these people in Frisco. Ah, okay. All right. Let me get back up here and. You're talking about the traffic in Dallas. I think there's a little truth to that. I used to have a Mustang Cobra convertible. And the last time I drove it through Dallas, I drove it like an idiot too. So I was scaring my uncle to death. He was in the car with me. My mom had been in the hospital and we drove over to see her. And on the way back, he's like, show me what this Cobra will do. And he was white knuckled. I was scaring him pretty good. that car would freaking run. Robbie Ross, channel member, says he was all over the place. Talked about super truckers and guys not doing a proper pre-trip. Talked about his days in trucking. Ah, yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, that's a Robbie Ross channel member that said that. Yep, that's correct, sir. I did see that one. I don't know. Tell me what you think, Robbie. The last couple of videos I've heard from him, he sounds like he's really close to a nervous breakdown himself. I think when he went on there, he opened up a can of worms he didn't realize he was opening up. The previous CEO, who's a real nice guy that I know, I've talked to on the phone several times, kind of ran the company in the ground. He didn't do a great job. Nice guy, just didn't get it for whatever reason. And so when this guy got there, he had a pretty big mountain to climb, and I think the stress is getting to him a little bit. Hey, look who's here. Good friend of the show, big supporter of the channel. Axel Blackblade is here with his donation. Mr. Todd, how goes life? Man, it has been a crazy week. Everything from me being over the night in the hospital to actually I spent the time in the ER, but you get the point. I was there for a long time. To the Corvette not being done, to the semi being done, but I can't go get it, to me probably going to go have a showdown with the mechanics tomorrow, me being on pain meds and saying crazy stuff. It's just been a wild week, man. How are you doing? I'm so glad you're here. Let's see if I can get back to where we were. No Fear says, I'm listening. I appreciate you being here, man. I really do. Midlife says, I'm headed for home. I've been out 22 days, which is longer than I usually stay out. I'm usually home every 2 weeks. See, I was thinking you went home like every weekend, but you do stay out normally about 2 weeks at a time. I'm glad you're getting some home time. Hopefully you'll be there for a few days. I've had way too much home time. I'm ready to go back to work. And my wife's ready for me to go back to work. She's packing my suitcases now. I just did that to irritate her. Midlife says, I'm taking a load home that delivers me to Disney World on the 8th. But somebody has to do it, right? Yeah, at least spend the day there and ride some rides, or have your family come down and take them all to Disneyland. Gary Cook wants to know if they're pretty nurses. I'll be honest with you. I was so high when I was there, I don't even remember what they look like. All I know is my wife said I was real nice to everybody but her. I snapped at her a couple of times. I remember snapping, but I don't remember what I said. And I'm glad to hear I was nice to the staff, the doctors and the nurses. But I got there in so much pain that I was kind of out of it. And they drugged me heavy enough that I didn't know where I was or what I said or what I did. Channel member Robbie Ross says he has his hands in so many things, not sure if he's a bit off more than he can chew. Yeah, that's my thinking. It got really down. And the owner, I'm not going to say which company or nothing, but the owner is like 80 or 90 years old, but he runs the company really well. And I really think it would take him to fix things. I would think that at this point, it's down far enough that it would take somebody of his caliber to turn it around. I think I could help him if I was there. I think I could do some videos and kind of help him promotionally. But like I said, I'm committed to another company. I still have a pretty positive opinion about him. I think there's a world where I could help him and still remain working for Scott. But they haven't reached out to me about anything like that, and I haven't reached out to them about anything like that. So it is where it is, but I want them to succeed because the owner of the company, he's a great guy. I've always wanted to meet him and never got to because a lot of the opportunities I have now came from that company, and I made a lot of friends while I was there. I still talk to several people there. So I want them to do well and succeed. No Fear says Swift been trying to call me, wanting me to come on with them. So probably the number one question I get asked these days is, what do I think about Swift? So I probably should talk about Swift for just a second. The thing you've heard me say in these videos is that I made the most money I ever made at Swift. And that's true, but that was over 6 months ago. And the market and the economy has changed a lot since then. I also was beta testing a load board, which gave me a slight advantage. Now that thing is basically collapsed. They fired a bunch of people on that that were putting it together. And so it's kind of in limbo. Everybody I've talked to that's over there right now says freight is way down. And so I don't know that it's the great opportunity that it was. But, you know, that's what happens with companies. They get good for a while and then they go bad. Then another company gets good for a while and they go bad. And so I met a lot of great people there. I met a lot of really good drivers there. But it's kind of like dating your high school girlfriend 30 years later. You might have a lot of great memories when you dated them in high school, but they're not the same girl they was 30 years ago. And Swift's not the same company they were 6 months ago. You guys won't remember when I was there that they kept changing stuff like all the time. They'd say something and then a week or two later they'd change it. And quite frankly, it'd make a fool out of me because they'd say, yeah, Todd, this is the way it is. And I'd make a video and I'd say, all right, here's the way it is. And then the next week they'd say, oh, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, well, you just made me tell everybody we were. And so it became a little bit of a problem. And so, yeah, as you guys know, I'm not there no more. I don't dissuade anybody from going there. I don't say don't go there. But I don't promote them either and say, oh, yeah, this is where you need to go. You know, I've said this about companies for a long time. Pick the worst company in trucking, the very worst one you think that you would never work for under any circumstances. And I'll guarantee you at that company, there's a driver there that loves it, that, you know, he gets home every weekend. He's making great money. He's on some special dedicated account. So that's why there's so many different companies, because there's so many different drivers. And I'm not telling you don't go to Swift. I'm not telling you it's not a great company. I'm just telling you, I feel like I was there in the heyday, and I don't feel like right now it's the heyday. Now, maybe it is if you're a student. Maybe it is if you're a trainer. Maybe it is if you live in just the right spot. But you know, a lot of people have asked me, hey, Todd, if you lose this truck, are you going back to Swift? Probably not. Not right now. Like I said, if I lose this truck, the goal is to stay with Scott at SRO Logistics. But I hope I answered your question. No fear. It just, I don't know what's going on over there right now. But I am guilty of that, of returning to companies that I've left because, you know, they'll get a new CEO or something and things will change. And it's a place of familiarity to me. So when things go south, I always think about Dart. I always think about Swift. I even think about Roadrunner. But none of those companies hold a candle to SRO Logistics. And I don't know what the reason is. Maybe it's just because it's a small company. You know, when there's a problem, you call the owner. You deal with it, you know, head on, one-on-one. And I don't always hear what I want to hear, but at least I get an honest answer up front. And so maybe that's it. I do like some things about the bigger companies. For example, if I'd have had this $5,000 breakdown at Swift or at Dart, they'd have covered it and let me pay it back in payments. And you're not going to be able to do that at a smaller company. And, it's not his responsibility. It's not Knight and Swift's responsibility. I mean, Swift's responsibility or Dart's responsibility. But, the bigger companies have more leeway, but it's also harder to get a problem fixed at a bigger company. If I had a payroll issue, sometimes it'd take 3 or 4 days to fix it at Swift. If I have one with SRO Logistics with Scott, he usually has it fixed in 2 or 3 minutes. Usually he does it while we're on the phone. He's like, I say, hey, Scott, I think this is missing. He's like, all right, let me check. He looks and, yep, it sure is. We'll fix it on your next check. And it's done. And so from a stress point, I really like the way SRO works. And more importantly, I like his integrity and his honesty. I've never caught him lying to me. I've never caught him trying to rip me off. And so that's why I'm so adamantly telling you guys how great it is here, because I really haven't had that bad experience to tell you about. Let's see here. Midlife says, someone mentioned you in one of the comments on my video about the shop. What'd they say? I guess I didn't see that in your video. I was watching another YouTuber and somebody mentioned me in there too. And the YouTuber just said that he felt bad for anybody that's in the shop. It's normally a YouTuber that's very critical of me. And in that video, he was kind of sympathetic. So I know there's a lot of people saying a lot of crazy stuff right now. I'm just curious what they said on your channel. Russell says, I'm very successful where I'm at. My dedicated lane is a banger. I'm an owner operator. Yeah, I knew you were doing real well over there, but you're flatbed, aren't you? Are you flatbed, Russell? Tim Back says, I heard companies are starting to park trucks because they can't afford to run them. Yeah, that's been going on for a while now. Reefer is kind of changing. It's kind of down more than what it normally is in the trend for this time of year. And flatbed is kind of sporadic. And like I said, I noticed reefer rates this week. I looked yesterday at the first time that I'd looked in a couple of weeks and saw what the dry van rates are. And I about had a heart attack. And then when I talked to Scott, I was like, man, I got a little bit of sticker shock. And he's like, yeah, but you'll do what you do. You negotiate. You'll be fine. And I agree with him. I'll get through it. But I was like, wow, what? I sold cars for several years in my younger days. And then I went back into it a few years ago for a few months just because I missed it. And so I'm a pretty good negotiator. But, man, I don't know how these guys that don't know how to negotiate are doing it. I can definitely say it's tough out there right now. Midlife says, channel member, by the way, one of the best things about being a company driver, someone else worries about how much the truck repair will cost. Yes, sir. I can't disagree with that. Brian Walton says, to me, when I was at Swift, I felt I was a number and was dictated what to do. I feel I am at a great company here at Rosedale. I never had that problem at Swift, but when I started, I had a really crappy OOC. And then I got a guy out of Oklahoma City that was really great. And so a lot of the problems that guys have, I mean, most of them called me Trucker Todd when I called in, even night dispatch and stuff. And so everybody kind of knew who I was. And I don't know if that influenced how they treated me or not, but if I want to give Swift kudos about something, they did treat me very well during my time there. Tim Back, that is something that Cheeseman did in the fourth quarter last year. They parked and then leased out some of the trucks, reducing capacity. Yeah, that's not a bad strategy in this market. Oh, yeah. Well, at least they didn't say nothing negative. just that Mike's midlife trucker channel member says I'd asked him what they said about me in the comments on his video, and he said just that his experience and my experience at Peterbilt shop's probably not good. Yeah, that's definitely true. But if you want an even worse experience, go to a Kenworth dealership. I've only been to one shop, Peterbilt or Kenworth, in the country that I thought was pretty good, and that was the one in Altoona, Iowa. They're pretty good. Russell Freight, no, I'm with the dry van company. You know, the one you worked at. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were over there. Man, I always thought you were doing flatbed. Man, you and me are going to have to talk off air sometime, Russell. I got some questions for you now that I know that. Midlife channel member says they're saying that we are not at the bottom yet on the freight rates. I was listening to talking heads saying that we need to lose 20% capacity to right the ship. Well, maybe, and we're losing them. They're trickling off every week. I watched a report today while I was waiting for my wife to get off work, and they're falling off a little bit every week. So we're eventually going to get there. It's just we're all hanging on by the edge of the cliff, and the question is, can we hang on till it hits that bottom? But I love my Pete, no complaints. Yeah, I love my Kenworth, but I got to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd buy another one. If I lose this truck, I might go a different direction. As much as I love them, as nice as they are, it's just been a headache getting repairs done. And so I don't know what the next one would be. Maybe a Volvo. I don't know. A lot of people are talking really nicely about the new Internationals, and I'm afraid to get behind an International, but I don't know what the next one would be. SRO Logistics, Scott over there, he has a really nice Volvo that I drool every time I see it. I love his truck, and I wish I could get his truck. And I know he maintenances it and takes really good care of it, so I wouldn't be afraid of his truck at all. Channel member Midlife says, Peterbilt told me they could put a bucket under my fuel tank leak until Wednesday when they would have a chance to look at it. Well, here's the deal I don't understand. Every one of these PACCAR dealers you go to, they say, it's going to be a week before we can look at your truck. All right. If I knew that I had a shop that was constantly a week behind, I'd hire more mechanics. I'd build more bays, because the quicker you can get trucks out, the more revenue your shop brings in. If you're a week out, build 3 more bays. See if you're still a week out. If you are, build 3 more bays. Keep going until you can keep up with demand. But they don't. They just sit there. Well, we're 2 weeks out. We're 3 weeks out. It's like, man, get some people in here. Let's get this stuff knocked out. Russell says, I don't miss my Kenworth. Glad I traded for a Pete. I do like Pete's better than Kenworth's. And people say, well, they're the same truck. There's some small differences that make the Peterbilt slightly better. But I like them both. I love the way they look. I love the way they ride. But when there's a service issue, it takes forever to get parts, and it takes forever to get fixed. And ideally, I'd like to get an older truck. And I haven't had this conversation with Scott. I don't know how old of a truck he would let me run or what I could get away with. But that's what I'd ideally like to have, is an older truck. It's a little harder to find parts for. And the fuel economy is a lot less, but they seem like they break down less. Midlife Trucker channel member says the problem is that we lose a carrier, but the drivers are quickly being absorbed by other carriers, which is not reducing capacity. Yes, sir. That's very true what you're saying. That is true. We're not having that many drivers that are going, screw it, I'm getting out of trucking. They're just going, all right, yellow closed, I'll go to another company. All right, this company closed, I'll go to another company. We need drivers to get out to say, I'm not doing this no more. I'm going to go flip hamburgers. I'm going to go sell cars, something like that. Russell says that's why he traded his KW. So that tells me I'm not the only one having these experiences. They're finding how difficult it is to get parts and service, and quite honestly, how bad the dealerships are and the shops. You know, they make everything so proprietary that nobody else can work on it. And then when you get to their shops, they go, oh, well, we can't work on you. We're too busy. So you just sit and the downtime kills you. So, you know, if I got an older Pete or an older Kenworth, a lot of these smaller shops could work on it. But this new stuff, it's so technical and electronic, a lot of them can't do nothing for you. And so I may reevaluate my game plan, but I want to be very clear here because of the rumors going around on YouTube. There's not a plan on my part to stop working at SRO Logistics. That's not in my game plan. And if that were to end, if Scott calls me at the end of this video and says, yeah, Todd, we're done, I don't have a backup plan. You're going to see me scramble. I have not put in an application with any other company, despite what you're hearing on YouTube. I haven't talked to any other companies about employment opportunities, nothing like that. I hadn't even tell you how far behind the curve I am. I haven't even started looking for other trucks. You know, I said earlier in the video, if I lost this truck, that I was still going to try to work for Scott. I haven't started locating trucks yet, so I'm going to really be running like a crazy man if I can't get this truck or get that Corvette sold as quickly as I need to. Shane Lee says, hey, Todd, I just got the fuel card, starting to save money on fuel now. Thank you so much. So what Shane's talking about here, he got the ES Advantage fuel card that's on my website, truckertodd.net, and he's already starting to notice fuel savings. I'll bet you he's going to notice $1,400 a month in fuel savings, maybe more depending on what part of the country he runs. But that's great to hear, Shane. I hope you'll stay in touch and let me know how much you're saving. Am I just lucky? Do I just save $1,300 or $1,400 a month because I'm lucky when I use it? Or are you guys doing the same thing? Are some of you outperforming me? That's what I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear, hey, Todd, you're only saving $1,300, $1,400. I saved $1,700 this month. I saved $2,000. I'd love to hear that. So good on you, Shane. That's, you know, people always say I'm not making money out here, and it's the little things like this. I told a guy the other day, he mentioned another fuel card that another YouTuber had set up. And I told him, I said, get it, get mine, get his, get Mudflap. And I hope you use my referral code on Mudflap. But even if you don't, get every fuel discount plan you can, and then compare them as a part of your pre-trip and buy your fuel at the cheapest price. Don't be brand loyal and say, well, I'll only go to Pilot or I'll only go to Love's. Go wherever it's the cheapest. And you're going to see that you start saving $1,300 to $1,500 a month. And that's money in your pocket. That's whatever you don't spend goes in your pocket. So take advantage. Right now, we've got more discount plans than ever. Take advantage of them and save money every chance you get. It's only going to benefit you. The difference between the guys out here that are making it and the guys out here that are struggling is just one or two decisions. We're all driving a truck. We're all picking up and delivering freight. But a couple of us are just doing a few things different that are making all the difference. And Shane has taken one of those big steps. Also, getting your own insurance. If you're on a mega carrier insurance or something, getting your own insurance from OIDA or Seabright or somebody like that. Just little things like that. Saving $50 here, saving $100 there. Those things make a big, big difference. Midlife channel member says most of our trucks at Cheeseman have the Cummins X15 with the Eaton 12-speed automatic automated. See, those drugs. And same rear ends, Internationals, Freightliners, Kenworths, and Peterbilt, same setup. Yeah, what they've done is they've spec'd it for maximum performance, usually fuel economy. And it sounds like they've got a setup that they really, really like. Channel member Robbie Ross says he likes Volvos also. You always have to worry about loads over 43.5. Truck is heavy. Yeah, but the other problem with the Volvo is it's kind of like the Peterbilts and Kenworths. Sometimes it's hard to get parts for a Volvo, and they're built structurally very solid. You guys might remember when I did Fly Rabbit's decal video at the Greer terminal, and they were putting his decals on. That shop foreman, he didn't want to come on the air, but he told me off the air that structurally, in their body shop, they found that Volvos were structurally the strongest, the most steel in them and things like that. And he said if he was involved in an accident, he would definitely want to be in a Volvo. So if safety is important to you, you know, Volvo was one of the first to put, probably the first to put an airbag in a truck. They've always been safety minded. And I really like the Volvo trucks. But like I say, if you need a part, sometimes it can be hard to get parts for a Volvo. Gary Cook says hiring people today is really hard because nobody wants to work. Yeah, my wife's experiencing that at her work. They've had a lot of people quit, and I think it's true in trucking too. What I'm hearing lately from companies is that a lot of drivers are showing up late for pickups and deliveries. The companies I'm talking to say that, and I'm not talking to them as for a job opportunity. Let's get that clear. But the companies that converse with me on a regular basis are telling me that their biggest problem is service failures right now. Drivers not showing up on time, going home, not picking their loads up on time when they come back out, things like that. Drivers oversleeping. So that's one thing that'll kill your company quicker than anything is if you don't have on-time pickup and deliveries. Ooh, Russell says he lost $87,000 to repairs on the KW. And the sad thing is you could probably buy another KW for about that amount. You could have just parked it in the driveway and said, here, I'll buy that one over there. If you'd have known it was going to cost you $87,000. Still kept breaking down. Yeah, my Kenworth has been really, really reliable. So I took it in because that turn signals wasn't working on the trailer. And I really thought it was going to be a simple electrical issue, and they sure did too. Turned out to be a PCM. I had a minor oil leak that was a oil pressure sending unit, and they fixed that real quick. It's just like an 11/16 bolt that screws in on the side of the, I think it's on the side of the oil pan, if I remember correct. It's been a few weeks since I seen my truck. And then they were going to go ahead and fix the bunk heater too. And it's man, it took forever to get that PCM, and then it took forever for them to work it back into the shop. It's almost like they try to starve you out. Brian Walton says, I'm tired of hearing a lot of people that truck driver shortage. I don't feel the trucking industry is short on drivers. Well, I've said this too. Anybody that thinks there's a truck driver shortage right now needs to try to find truck stop parking after 6 o'clock. We've got just as many trucks out here as we've ever had. What we do have, and I agree with Trucking Answers on this, we have a shortage of truck drivers that want to work for free. So the companies that are having trouble hiring are the companies that don't pay anything. The companies that are good companies to work for, they got all the drivers they want. They're not even running ads. So we don't have a shortage of drivers. We have a shortage of drivers that want to be underappreciated, misused, underpaid, things like that. All righty. Dart is pulling their KWs off the road. Yeah, I saw that. So I guess I can talk about that since channel member Robbie Ross brought it up. The Dart CEO said the other day that they're pulling all of their Kenworth 2019s off the road and selling them. Evidently, they had the PACCAR engine, and they were starting to have a lot of problems with them as they get into the higher miles. And they're at the point where they've got to pay the balloon payment on them and keep them, or sell them back to PACCAR. And they're selling them back to PACCAR at this point. Now, that's weird. My PACCAR has almost 600,000 miles on it now, and it's been great. It's been bulletproof. But evidently, the Kenworths at Dart have given them a lot of problems, and so I think they're ordering all their new. They're getting Peterbilts now instead of Kenworths, and I think they're ordering those with the Cummins engine now. But I've heard the truck payments on their new Peterbilts are like $4,200 or $4,400 a month. So they've gone a little wacko on the truck payments, and I don't know how well equipped they were. The Peterbilt I had when I was at Dart was a nice truck, but it was very plain. It was one of the more base model Peterbilts. And for $4,200, that thing better be loaded out. And the balloon payment at the end better be pretty cheap too. Midlife channel member says Cheeseman has 4 shops with the computers and training to fix our trucks. They do not hesitate to put road trucks first. Yeah, I said that too in one of my recent videos. We were talking about Crete, and I was saying their shop rate is $60 an hour. And if I worked at Crete, this is one of those mega carrier advantages. I could go in there and get my truck worked on for $60 an hour. Right now, I'm paying $170. So my labor bill on this repair would be a third of what it is now. That is an advantage of a mega carrier. Now, even if they said, hey, we can't do it, they would send it to a PACCAR dealer, and they would get a lot better discounted rate than what I could negotiate. So I'm not ever going to tell you that it's a bad idea to work for a mega carrier, but I'm just going to tell you my personal experience. Working for a small carrier like SRO Logistics has been a great, great experience for me. Sure, I lose out in breakdown situations like this, but just my day-to-day stress level when I'm working is a lot less. Channel member Midlife again. Planning your fuel for every trip is crucial. Exactly. Run every program, find the cheapest on the run, and fill everything. Yes, sir. I agree completely. I may get a few more fuel cards. I don't have brand loyalty. If one is cheaper, I'm going to go with the cheapest one. And I agree with him. I look for my route and I buy along that route wherever it's cheapest. Channel member Robbie Ross says, filled the tanks in Edmond, Oklahoma today. Posted price was $482. My price was $334. Saved $144 on just today's fill up. Were you using that ES Advantage card, Robbie Ross? I can't remember if you got it yet or not. I was thinking you did. I was happy today. Gas here in Lubbock for my pickup was $2.84 a gallon. And then I had a code, and so I got another 5 cents a gallon off. So I paid $2.79 a gallon. I was pretty excited about that. Channel member Midlife says Volvo is the only Class 8 truck with a driver's side airbag. I wasn't sure if that was true or not. I was thinking there was another truck manufacturer that made it as an option, but I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, I knew for a fact Volvo had it, and I was thinking one other manufacturer offered it as an option. Russell says, I'm a Pete guy now, never buying a Kenworth. Yeah, like I said, I like Pete. You're not going to get any argument from me. I just don't know how to overcome the shop problems. Seems like you're going to have that whether it's a Peterbilt or a Kenworth. Channel member midlife again. The reason we can't find a truck stop parking after 6 p.m. is because no one wants to park at 6 a.m. Yeah, but you keep hearing these reports that we're 100,000 drivers short or 150,000 drivers short. And my whole argument is if we're really short that many drivers, it should be easy to find a parking place. And you have to keep in mind, a lot of drivers are parking at their terminals. They're going home every night. So there should be plenty of parking. But they say right now, I saw a deal the other day that said there's 11 trucks for every one parking spot available. So that makes it tough. And granted, a lot of them are on the road. So the ratio shouldn't be that steep. A lot of them are parking at terminals. But if there's 11 trucks for every parking spot, that's something we need to address pretty quick. Channel member midlife again. I'm going to end up having to make him a co-host. He says, it's funny people say there is no shortage of truck drivers, but then they give reasons why there is a driver shortage. Compensation and retention are reasons why there's a driver shortage. Exactly. We experienced that here in Lubbock. There used to be a lot of jobs that paid $8 an hour. And then we got a Chick-fil-A and they were paying, what was it, Paula, $12 an hour? I think it was $12 an hour. Well, then all of a sudden the HEB started paying $12 an hour. And who is?
HEB, like a cashier or something like that.
Paula said they're now paying $14 an hour. So now all the rates are starting to go up in Lubbock just because they started having trouble getting workers. And same thing in trucking. If you're having trouble getting drivers at your trucking company, and I mentioned this a while back too, I had that CEO that we were talking about earlier that does that video that at least 6 or 8 people watch. He said that there's no difference between his company and FFE and KLLM and all these other companies. Well, that's the problem. If you're just trying to be as good as the companies that everybody thinks is bad, you're not going to get drivers. Instead of saying, hey, we're just like them, tell me how you're better than them. Tell me why I should work for you instead of them. You ask me why I work for SRO Logistics, I can give you a dozen reasons off the top of my head. But if Scott came out tomorrow and said, Todd, I'm just like Swift. I'm just like CR England. I'm just like this company or that company. I'm just like Western Express. Then it's going to lose its luster. He knows, his slogan is trying to be the best, not the biggest, I believe. I always say it wrong. But anyway, you get the point. He's not worried about being a mega carrier. He's worried about being the best carrier. And, if he started saying, well, I'm just like this company. I'm just like Western Flyer. I'm just like Western Express. I'm just like Hurricane. Well, then nobody's going to work for him. They want to work for somebody that's better than those companies. And so you're right, midlife. It's compensation. It's retention. It's treating your drivers the right way, not talking down to them, things like that. That's what makes people want to stay. Shane Lee says, we are short on good drivers. We have so many new drivers that don't respect others and their own CDL. That's another great point. I get in trouble every time I say this, so get ready. Maybe it's the pills talking. But we're bringing in a lot of foreign drivers. And I don't have a problem with that, with people trying to better their lives or maybe improve their situation so they can send money back home. But for goodness sakes, if you're going to come here, learn our traffic rules, learn our hygiene customs. Don't take a bath in the bathroom sink, washing your nasty feet, and then I got to go there and wash my hands. Don't leave your poop bags in the fuel island. Have some decency to you. And learn how to merge, learn how to drive in traffic, and take care of your equipment like we have to. And then fine, come here and make all the money you want. I think there's enough freight out here for all of us. But for whatever you do, try to assimilate. Brian Walton says, have you heard that FMCSA is forcing companies to pay detention pay? I have not heard that, and I would be surprised because when you say companies, are you talking about shippers or are you talking about trucking companies? I have not heard that. The problem with forcing shippers to do it is they're not regulated by the FMCSA. So it's a whole nother can of worms you got to open. But I know they've been looking at it lately, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's coming down the line. Russell says, I'm laying 2,600. I got a deal since my last truck was junk. Well, good deal. So you didn't get your truck from the company you're working for now, did you? You and me are going to have to talk on the phone really soon, Russell, because if you work where I think you do, I'm wanting some insider information. I'll still get information from there, but I never know if they're telling me the truth or not. Hey, Paula, I'm going to have to take a pill. I'm hurting. Which one of these makes my back feel better? I don't know what each of them does. I don't want to take a muscle relaxer, but that one for nerve pain or yeah, I want that one for sure. How many does it say I can take? One.
I don't know how many.
So this video is brought to you by Tylenol with codeine.
I can't have this one right now. That's later.
Which one is it? Oh yeah, I don't want a muscle relaxer. What's that one do?
Gabapentin.
What's it do? Yeah, that's the one I want.
Nerve pain.
And gabapentin. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Gabapentin.
Yeah, gabapentin. So Tylenol with codeine and gabapentin. This is a part of the show y'all been waiting for where things get fun. Thank you. Midlife channel member says it's easy to forget that this is winter when you are in a toasty, warm truck. Open the door and step out, turn into a popsicle. Yeah, and this time of year is the time of year when I typically make a lot of money because I run the loads nobody else wants to run. And so that's going to be my game plan if I get my truck back pretty quick, because I'm going to go do some hard running and make that money. Channel member Robbie Ross says, I have several cards, Nastic, Mudflap, and Darts card. Yes, sir. It sounds like you got a good plan. That one you saved a lot of money with, though, was it the ES Advantage? Midlife channel member says Bucky's pays real well, too. If we had one near my house, I'd be working there part-time right now while I'm waiting on all my stuff to get fixed. Gary Cook says, I hate it when you pull into a truck stop to park and they're all kind of bobtail parking. Yeah, that irritates me, especially when there's bobtail parking spaces and they don't want to get into them. I also hate, everybody used to tease JB Hunt about this. I hate when they park sideways and take up two spots, or when they put cars in one of the spots to save a spot for their buddies. Those things just drive me nuts. Midlife channel member says their feet shouldn't be nasty. They wash their hands and feet before each prayer and pray 5 times a day. Yeah, they, and again, they can do them. I don't care what they do, but I just, some of their, when you stand behind them in line and they smell like they hadn't had a bath in 6 weeks, we get free showers with Phillips. Go take a shower. You can take a shower just as quick as you can wash your feet in the sink. Go get a quick shower. Put on some cologne. Wear clean clothes. Whatever country they came from, that may not be the norm. But, if I moved to Mexico, I would adapt Mexican customs. If I moved to France, I would adopt French customs or German customs wherever I was living. Just try to assimilate, try to be a part of the population when you move here. Midlife channel member again saying it's Secretary Pete, who is looking to review detention pay. The truth is they are trying to speed up the shippers and receivers because they want to increase capacity and reduce freight rates. Yeah, I'm sure that that's freight rates and all of that always plays into it somehow. The old saying, follow the money, is true in just about every situation. Channel member Robbie Ross says ES, yes. So ES is the one that he saved the $144 worth with. So that's great. So how does the ES Advantage card work? So they've changed it recently, and I haven't got all of the updates. The one I have, you prepay on it, and then you fuel with it. And they've got an app you download, and it tells you where the cheapest places are, but it'll work pretty much anywhere that EFS is taken. Now I understand that they've got an option where they can bill you twice a week, and they've got another option if you've got really good credit where they can bill you either once a week or once a month. I have not called to find out about those other options yet. It's on my list of things to do, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be your cheapest fuel. And so I encourage everybody to get the ES Advantage card. Look on my website. It's got a little deal you can click. You answer about 4 or 5 questions, and then they'll call you back a day or two later, and they'll go over everything with you. Let's see here. Russell says he saved $216 with the carrier I'm leased to. So see, there are a lot of guys that are saving a lot of money right now. And you say, well, it's only $216. Yeah, but if you do that 2 or 3 times a week, it becomes a lot of money. And it turns, if you save $500 a week, it turns a $1,500 check into a $2,000 check, or a $2,000 check into a $2,500 check. And I mean, is there anybody in this room right now that couldn't use an extra $216? I think every single one of us could use it, and it's for doing the same things you're doing right now. You don't have to do 2 hours extra work to get this savings. You just use a different card when you fuel. Midlife channel member says, have you heard of the Buc-ee's in Sanderson, Texas? It's really kind of a joke. You'll have to Google it. Okay, I'll do that. Paula, can you remember the Buc-ee's in Sanderson, Texas? Hopefully she'll remember that. I'll try to check that out after the show. Oh, boy, that air went off again. Brian Walton says, I hate it when you pull into a truck stop and you have to pick up trucks parked in a trucker spot. They can park anywhere. Oh, pickup trucks. Yeah. Yeah, unless it's a hot shot, I kind of get it. They got a big trailer and everything, and they got to park somewhere too. But what gets me is RVs. Go to a campground, park up front. There's a lot of truck stops have RV parking. Don't come up there and take one of our truck spots that we really need. Gary Cook says, something. Oh, here we go. Let's see. He says, I wish the FMCSA would outlaw lumpers. Yeah, I do too. I don't know how they would do that because, it's an occupation, but there's got to be a fix to it. I wish they would just bill the shipper directly and leave drivers out of it immediately. I think it'd get fixed real quick if they did that. If you brought in a load of Tropicana orange juice and the lumper said it's $400, you say, fine, call the shipper, get your $400. How many times do you think the shipper would pay that before they said, hey, we're not doing this no more. We'll just quit shipping you orange juice. Channel member Robbie Ross says, I have the new card. Has your name on it. My rep said had better security. Has my name on it or has your name on it? I'm assuming it has your name on it. If it has my name on it, I'm probably fixing to get a pretty big fuel bill. Anthony Fisher says, I saw a small Nissan in one last night. Yeah, doesn't that just frustrate the heck out of you? You're tired, you're trying to find a place to park, and a small Nissan's blocking a spot. And it's probably another driver that has an out and back run, and he's parking his car there to save him a spot. But what he needs to do is pay for parking at one of these drop lots and park his car there. It's not our fault he's home every night, or his company needs to pay for something. Channel member Midlife Trucker says, keep in mind that Pilot Flying J and Loves have their apps saying that they are RV friendly. At most of their travel centers, there's even an RV logo in the Pilot app. Yeah, but they have RV parking up in the front part of the parking lot where the cars go. Now, that may fill up. I don't doubt that, but they usually have, especially Flying J, they'll have 8 or 10 spots up there for RVs. And sometimes you'll even see bobtail trucks parked in those spots. But yeah, I get the problem. These truck stops would much rather have 10 RVs than 10 trucks. Main reason being it's more money. 10 RVs are going to have, 4 or 5 people in each of them, families. They're going to get out, they're going to eat, they're going to buy knickknacks, things like that. Trucker's usually going to have 1 or 2 people in his trucks. In his truck, he's going to be eating on the truck. He's going to go in there, trash the place, and leave, and gripe the whole time he's in there. So I get it. And leave him a couple of pea jugs as souvenirs. And he's also going to park in the fuel island for 30 minutes while he flirts with the staff and scratches his rear end and buys stuff in the store. It's gross, but it's true. Channel member Midlife again. You can't really be mad at the RV owners for stopping there when they're invited. I'm not mad at them for stopping there. I'm mad at them for not being considerate. Hey, if the front fills up and they got to come in the back, then fine, come in the back. But if there's 6 or 8 RV parking spots up front, park up there and save those spots in the back for the drivers. Or better yet, go to a campground. Robbie Ross with a little bit of clarification there. I will not be paying everybody's fuel bill. The cards have their name on them. I need to get a new card, it sounds like. And I've been meaning to call them, but it has his name on the card. So Robbie will be paying his own fuel bill, and I guess it's not going to be assigned to me. But when you do go to the web page to have them contact you, it does have Trucker Todd up at the top. So I thought that was cool. One of the first websites to show the Trucker Todd name on it. Exactly. No fear gets what I'm saying. He says, tell them to park at Buc-ee's. Yes, sir. Absolutely. No fear. I was about to give you a wrench, but it says you already got one. That comment deserved a wrench. That's pretty good. So we've been going 2 hours now. You guys are clicking along pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I am going to remove my hat and let y'all see my messy hair because I am baking in here under all the lights. She turned the air up, but I look bald because my hair is wet with sweat from this heat. But I really do have a head of hair. Those pills should be kicking in here in a minute, and I'll feel like $1 million. Y'all got anything y'all want to talk about? Throw it up, and we'll get into it. We're still cruising along pretty good at 37. So I think what we got going on tonight, it usually happens. I got a lot of you that's driving, so it's really hard to type while you're driving. But I appreciate you watching, and I'll say this for the replay gang. I appreciate you guys watching me on the replay. If you guys have not done it yet, please give me a thumbs up, share this video on your social media platforms, and make sure you're still subscribed. Also, click that join button and figure out how to or find out about becoming a channel member. Also, go to the website, todd@truckertodd.net, or email me at todd@truckertodd.net. And look at the deal scrolling across the bottom, the little ticker. You'll find my email, my website if you forgot it. You'll also find Scott's email if you'd like to find out about leasing your truck onto him. If you need a truck, email me. We'll talk about companies you can get a truck from, and then how you can go to work with Scott or wherever you want to go. But looks like we got some more comments. Let's see here. Channel member Robbie Ross says no drooling on prescription drugs. Yeah, that's why I was having her kind of tell me what to take and what not to take. When I take those muscle relaxers, we go on a fun little ride. So far, I'm holding it together pretty good, though. But if I really need to kick things up a notch, I got a Juneberry Red Bull here, and those things taste amazing. Let's see what else we got here. Brian Walton pulled into a weigh station and had a truck blocking the scale. He went inside to get his ticket. He said he waited an hour to get where he was at. Wow, that's crazy. Why didn't they pull him around back and so y'all could get through there? That seems like that was more inconsiderate of the DOT officer than anything. All right, I'll pull that down so y'all can see the website. We'll give it a few more minutes and see what other comments come up. If we don't get anything, then we'll call it a night. But this has been fun. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Clear off some messages here. Brian Walton says it was at a love. So you said weigh station, but you meant cat scale, right? It was at a cat scale because a weigh station would be a DOT officer. So that was just an inconsiderate truck driver. You're supposed to, they even tell you when they weigh you to pull off the scale and come inside. Channel member Robbie Ross wants me to pour myself a shot of Jack or Jameson. I have some Crown here, and I thought about it, but I got to go to the doctor in the morning, so I got to kind of chill out. 9 o'clock in the morning. Are you cold? I'm sorry. She told me it's 70 degrees in here, and she's freezing. It doesn't feel 70 when you're doing this. Do I? She said I'm in the spotlight. It's more like the hot seat. Let's see. Ted says, well, sir, I'm going to bed. I'm wore out, long week at the hospital with my wife. God bless everyone. Yeah, Ted, call me tomorrow and tell me how your wife's doing and how y'all are doing, if everything's okay. Give me a buzz tomorrow. If I don't answer, leave me a message and I'll call you back as soon as I can. I have not tried Crown Apple. Brian Walton says Crown Apple is the best. I've just got regular Crown here. And if I don't overdo it, it's really good. If everything goes good at the doctor tomorrow, though, there may be some Crown tomorrow night, especially if the Corvette gets done. Anthony Fisher said, I've been working for Schneider OTR and haven't been able to join in a while. 44 cents a mile pay isn't great, but insurance is decent. Yeah, I didn't realize anybody, this is not a criticism of you or your company. I didn't realize any company was still paying that low. A lot of companies are paying 75, 77 cents a mile. I've heard a lot of drivers say they're in the 60s. So I would think you've got a pay raise coming here pretty quick. But, I never criticize anybody for where they work. If you're there and you're happy and it's working for you, then I'm happy for you. And if you got good insurance, that's a benefit you got to think about as well. I know they're hiring in my area right now. I've seen some of their ads around here, but they don't advertise 44 cents a mile. Maybe that's something they surprise you with later on. All right, let's see what else we got. Anybody else? Now's a good time to get in. Channel member Mudflap says there's been some reports that some companies are reducing driver pay due to freight volumes and rates. Yes. I think I mentioned that recently too. One of the CEOs that I watch on YouTube, that I'm not going to out him on here, has mentioned that they're considering cutting driver pay as well. Honestly, it kind of makes sense. Freight rates are down. I get why they might have to cut driver pay, but I hope they don't. Right now, drivers are really struggling to make it, and that's all they need is another pay cut. It's another reason I like what I'm doing at SRO. It's 80% of whatever I negotiate. So the only person giving me a pay cut is me, and the only person that can give me a raise is me. Now, after a year with SRO, he bumps us up 2%. So I do get a 2% raise, I guess, after a year. And the time is flying by really fast. But yeah, that's kind of bad. If you're on a mileage pay and they say, hey, we're going to cut you, that's tough in this market. But if their freight rates are going down, they may not have any choice. You just hope that when things turn around that they bump you back up. Let's see here. Channel member Robbie Ross, green drivers start that my ex-son-in-law is getting at Schneider. So green drivers start at 44 cents a mile. I guess that's not terrible in that case, to be brand new. But like I said, I hope he sees some big raises here pretty soon, because especially after the first year, I would think his pay would go up pretty significantly. Are you still cold? Drink some coffee. That'll warm you up. Oh, good. Let's see here. Back to the comments we'll go. Y'all got anything else y'all want to talk about tonight? They're just cut off, so my wife is in celebration mode right now. Okay, it's kind of winding down at 2 hours and 10 minutes. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this one. We'll call it a night. I'll get to bed and go to the doctor and tackle the mechanic and do all that stuff tomorrow. If something noteworthy happens, we'll do a video tomorrow and I'll tell y'all all about it. And if something newsworthy happens, we'll do a video on that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Tuesday night. I want to thank everybody for being here. I appreciate all y'all's support, all your prayers, everything like that. You guys and gals, don't want to forget anybody. Y'all have a great night. My good friend Deontay says good night, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.